When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love. It is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Well, it looks as if all hope is not lost as it concerns Nigerian students with the recent knowledge that the federal government and ASU seems to be in a very crucial meeting. But the result, would it be favorable to Nigerians, or would it indeed be another push for indeed another industrial action in the coming days ahead? Well, anyway, with that in mind, I want to quickly welcome you to another great time on television. It's Atlantic TV, it's Viewpoint. My name is Michael Bobadia.
And I am Mercy Irabo. Once again, welcome to Viewpoints on Atlantic TV. And you know how we do it right here on Viewpoints. We'll start with the dailies, we'll go straight to the dialogue, and the news comes around. And of course, trending. And you know how we do it on trending. We'll talk about all the hot gist on the internet. Yes, my name is Mercy Irabo, as you know. Yeah. So we need to go on this quick break. And when we return, the dailies will be next.
Well, the dailies is what we're having next right here on Viewpoint. And for review today, we have four papers. We have The Nation, The Guardian, The Punch, and also The Vanguard. But our usual puncher will take first stage on the show today. And on The Punch this morning, the leading story reads, Presidency rejects World Bank poverty reports. It's a screamer. And let's see if we take some major riders to it. Nigeria living in poverty rose from 115 million in 2023 to about 109 million in 2025, and this accredited to the World Bank. Presidency disputes data, defends reforms as World Bank urges action on inflation and also poverty. Well, anyway, it's not a poor read. You can continue on page 2 and you get all the major gist, yes, especially as you look at that very trending story. But let's quickly run to the top mass. Christians killing. Federal government disagree as a Christian Association of Nigerian backs a U.S. senator. And you can get more of that story on page 7. Opposition slams governors as states internally generated revenue soar by 50%. And that's quite a disturbing story you can get on page 19. But what you can also get on page 7, Nigeria lost $10 billion United States dollars to Northeast conflict. And this is accredited to the United Nations. Wow, a huge sum, Messi.
Yeah,
really,
a huge sum. Yeah.
But we're still at the top. Let's see if we take one story right there. And that's Dangote Refinery. Engineers on work parts over redeployment. And I remember he had deployed most of them to either the cement or other subsidiaries. But it looks as if a war part it is. Page 19 has more of that story. But let's quickly see if we take some other leading stories just beneath the picture of the day, still on the Punch. Labour Party senators shrink to 4 as Chukwe joins the APC. And well, page 7 has that story. Fraud. Interpol arrests Nigerian in Argentina. He has been on one of the most wanted lists. But I'll tell you to list up that story on page 5.
Yeah, and it's coming on trending today.
Well, yeah, and funny enough, we'll trend along with it, knowing that, like I said, it's indeed a trending story. Strike, federal government also in high stakes talk. And I remember we're looking at also on Dialogue. So today we are taking some major headlines and dealing with them on Dialogue and also trending. Viewpoint gives you the view to understand all. But anyway, let's quickly look at the picture of the day. And whoa, a whole lot of dignitaries right there. We can see former President Olusegun Obasanjo. He smiles with former President Goodluck Jonathan. Is also there. Vice President himself, Kashim Shettima, and also the Bauchi State Governor, Bala Mohammed, just as that of also Borno, Professor Babagana Zulum. All of them right there at, well, inauguration of the newly completed Ahmadu Bello International Conference Center. And remember, these happened during the recent investment summit in Bauchi, and all of that transpired yesterday. That's how much you can take from the Punch.
All right, let's see stories making it to the headlines of the nation. Yes, the lead story says how reforms are bringing down poverty by presidency. And the riders say World Bank lets policies reflect on living standard. 139 million could live in poverty by 2025. And this is where I say, God forbid. Well, you can read more of that on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Let's see what we have at the top mass. Uche Unanje's resignation, a lesson in honor. Wow, that's on page 38 of the Nation newspaper. A Senate seeks military base in Kwara. And the writer says troops in communities. Well, more of that story is on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. APC set to take in defecting governors. The writer says a party now holds a 2 to 3 in Senate. Well, that story is on page 2 of the paper. Let's see what we have at the side mass. NGOs seek ban on Unanji from holding public office. That is on page 2 of the paper. Still at the side mass, police puts tinted glass enforcement on hold. That's on page 3 of the paper. Let's see what we have at the bottom mass here. 176 underage UTME candidates undergo screening. More of that story is on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. NPA shops for investors in Japan. That story is on page 7 of the Nation newspaper. Let's see the picture of the day. That's the managing director of NDDC, Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, presenting a letter of awards to Mr. Reginald Onoha Pepple during the scholarship award ceremony for 600 beneficiaries of the NDDC 2023/2024 local postgraduate scholarships in Port Harcourt. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on The Nation. Let's see what The Guardian has for us. The lead story says, World Bank, Nigeria's reforms yielded stability, not relief for poor. It's on page 6 of The Guardian newspaper. Let's see what we have at the top mass. 17 local government areas under attack, says Benue Emergency Agency. That story is on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper. The Nigerian Copyright Commission confiscates pirated books valued at 100 million naira in Lagos shops. Whoa. That story is on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Presidency orders military to flush bandits out of Kwara forest. That story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's see what we have at the sidemas. Presidency reps knock claims of genocide against Christians to inform the United Nations. That's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. JAMB screens 176 underage candidates amid push for policy review. You can find more of that on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. INEC, a court orders IGP Egbotokun to arrest Yakubu. That is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. You can't develop without investment, Obasanjo says. You can read more of that on page 29 of the paper. Unanji's resignation splits opinion, exposes cracks in vetting system. Well, more of that story is on page 6 of the paper. Yes, at the bottom mass, Reps summon Toga, envoys over $54 million foreign mission funds. Well, that story is on page 4 of the paper. Let's see what we have as the picture of the day. Yeah, the picture of the day is just screaming out the lead story. You can see the president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the finance minister, Wale Edun, and then the whole chat. So it's just screaming the lead story of the Guardian newspaper. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on the Guardian newspaper. Let's see what the Vanguard has for us.
Well, yes, the Vanguard will be the next paper for us to quickly look at. And on the Vanguard newspaper this morning, the leading story reads, new INEC chair for Council of State preview today. Remember, we told you on our Viewpoint just a day before yesterday that there will be a Council of State meeting today. And it looks as if the new INEC chairman will be on top of the list. But anyway, let's see if we take some riders to that. Tinubu to present nominee at today's meeting. Amu Peton in top contention screened. President in firm control of nomination process. How politicians tried to force choice of nominees. And APC chairman institutional input. Well, I'll just tell you to get more of that on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Let's quickly see if we take some other leading stories. I support 80% of Tinubu reform, but not me saying that, but rather Sanusi seems to be screaming out that loud on page 8. My resignation, not admission of youth, Nanji, and I wonder what it is. But anyway, article urge probe of Tinubu cabinet members' academic records. And you can get all of that story on page 9 and 8 of the Vanguard. Senate summoned Defense Minister, Chief of Armed Staff, and the Inspector General of Police over insecurity in Kwara South. And that's beginning to give us a cause of worry that Kwara is now being part of those states that are being troubled by bandit attack. Remember, we looked at this critically also on dialogue on Tuesday, but I'll tell you to look up that story more on page 8. But what's on page 19? 139 million Nigerians living in poverty despite reform gains. These are credited to the World Bank, but I know myself and Messi, we are not on that list because our suits will let you know that we are not part of that people. But anyway, you can judge it yourself. But let's leave that and go to others. NMA report stalls Nnamdi Kalu's trial. We're talking about terrorism charge on page 11. Defection of senators, Akpabio, Moro in word of words. And you can get more of that story on page 26 of the Vanguard newspaper. But what's also a screamer on front of the Vanguard newspaper, and you can get on page 24, is court orders arrest of ex-INEC chair, Mahmoud Yakubu, for contempt. Funny enough, he just left office, now he's been threatened with an arrest. Oh, how Nigeria, oh, how Nigeria.
And he was supposed to be enjoying his terminal
well,
leave.
Yes, his leave. But well, it looks as if he'll be leaving more of that in detention. But anyway, let's just get that story on page 24. But what's on page 31, and a prayer that many Nigerian men are already saying in the morning and in the night before they go to bed, is Lesotho versus Nigeria. No panic in Super Eagles camp. And these are credited to Adleleye. And NESG, global order losing empathy. Nigeria must produce for itself. And these are credited to the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun. And you can get more of that story on page 15. Alleged genocide, Christian lives are not statistics. The Christian Association of Nigeria is telling no other but federal government on page 7. But the picture of the day is more of that transpired at the World Port Conference. Remember, that took part in Kobe, Japan, just yesterday. And you can see major CEOs all lining up for smiles, more gains, and more finance for them. But anyway, that's the much you can take from the Vanguard. And funny enough, from the dailies this morning, but you know I will always implore you that if you find any really interesting, don't just look at the headlines, go deep, read, and be informed. Because an informed mind is not a deformed mind. And if you understand what I mean. But what I really also would love us to do is to look at some majors, especially as it concerns the front pages of the dailies. And the one I want us to critically look at that seems to be more of a screamer is that seems to be on the front page of the Punch and funny trends on almost all the dailies this morning. And it's the recent One Bank release indicating that as of today, I'm talking about 2025, we have over 139 million Nigerians living below the poverty line. Remember, in 2023, we had almost 115 million. In our early 20s, in 2021, we had almost 102 multidimensional poor people living in Nigeria. But, well, it looks as if the statistics has just increased to 139. Like I said earlier, I doubt if me and Messi, our name is on that list. But if it's on that list, there's something to come, well, we'll be smiling. But the truth remains, the reforms that the federal government is doing, the World Bank acknowledges it. That yes, the reforms are working, but it's not taking a lot of people from poverty to prosperity. But rather, we're having a whole lot of persons still multidimensionally poor.
I don't know, but the truth is, when we have a screamer, is when just between 2 years we have over 20 million addition to the poverty line, and then it's something that is worrisome because. And I'm still wondering, sometime the president will come. I know this president, even here, is still trying to dispute the whole data and all of that, because I don't know if he feels the country is stable at this point. Because if he's not seeing what everybody else is seeing, then I don't know what to say.
No, I doubt if he doesn't understand it. Undermining his having that discussion with the World Bank saying, well, I feel your data is not correct.
Yeah.
The truth still remains, just like what the World Bank have said. Yes, Nigerian reforms seem to be working, seem to have stabilized the economy, but that's a different ballgame when it comes to taking people from poverty to prosperity. More Nigerians are now poor because of the living standard, the living wage that seems to be waging them down. So that's what the World Bank is saying. And I feel the federal government should indeed listen to the World Bank and see if they can really take some feeders from that very report that can help them indeed remove more Nigerians from the poverty line and bring them to prosperity, just like what India did as a couple of years when they were also being hit with a large number of poor people on the planet. But now they are moving from poverty to prosperity. But anyway, let's leave that and talk about another major one. And is the issue of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu indeed would be addressing the Council of State. Remember, we told you the day before yesterday that meeting is scheduled for around 10 today. And in all indication, that will definitely hold. But what's holding ground is the issue of a new INEC chairman, which seems to be also a trending issue. Well, there's every indication that Amel Peton will definitely be the new INEC chairman. But, you know, the Council of State is just there to give their advisory role. But for you, what do you feel this new INEC chairman should possess in character and in attitude to make it more credible?
The major thing we need is integrity.
Beautiful.
Because we really need the INEC to be accountable. And if the chairperson is not does not have integrity, is not being honest, then I don't see how we're going to have independent INEC. They're not going to work independently. They will still be liable to some persons and the political power, and that's what we don't want. I feel they should bring somebody that is not loyal to, that's not a loyalist to any of the political actors. Somebody that is just standing alone, and that's how we're going to have a free and fair elections. And then, secondly, I thought I was going to have this discussion with you, because you remember when you had that discussion with somebody on Dialogue talking about a woman representing and all of that, in as much as we might not be winning the chairperson, but at least we're acting for a few days, and I'm happy that my gender is there. Mr. Michael, you remember the other day you were giving me, you were lashing me here and there, telling me that a woman can never handle that position.
She's only on an acting capacity.
Yes, but the fact that a woman is able to act is a big thing for us.
Okay, well,
yes,
I'm happy for you.
A woman can never handle the position.
I'm happy for you people, but remember, no election is being conducted.
It doesn't matter, but we're there.
Well, Mercy will always be speaking for the women, and indeed, no surprise she's doing that. But anyway, we'll soon wrap up and indeed give a way for dialogue to come. But before we do all of that, let's also look at something that also is trending. And if I say this, Mercy will laugh because she has been expecting it since. And is the Minister of Science, Naji. He has finally, thrown the hat, he has resigned. But the question still remains, did he resign on account of being guilty? Or, like you said, I don't want issues, so let me go and sit in my house.
Okay, you said I was going to laugh. So
I
just decided to laugh first. Okay, I think this is not a matter of he that runs from a fight lives to fight another day. This is totally different from that, because how can you just resign when you know you're having all of these things? You're already giving us this. I don't know, I don't want to say much, but you're not supposed to resign if you're sure that you're very correct with everything.
Maybe the heat was too much. The heat was too much.
I saw this former senator, Shehu Sani, coming out to say that in political office, you do not really need a university degree. Just a school cert is enough for you.
Yes.
But even if it's enough, how then, I don't know, allegedly somebody forged a result, forged NYSC certificate and all of that. So that's totally different from the context. You coming out now to say, it seems you also, maybe you are aware, I don't know. But like I said, I don't want to talk too much on these issues, but the whole thing is loud, is a screamer already. He that runs from a fight lives to fight another day, but I don't think you're coming back to fight another day.
Well, mine is that I'm really happy on one ground. This is the first time we're finding, or few in many times that we're finding a minister resign in Nigeria. It's always a difficult one. In the Western world, yes, when there's a scandal, there's every opportunity for a minister to throw in the towel so he can take a bow and make for further investigation. But in Nigeria, we rarely hear of resignation, and many will say this is one in many. And we hope it happens, especially when there's scandals and there's every need for true and independent investigation. Whoever is involved should take a bow for that process to happen. But anyway,
but resigning or not, that will not stop the truth from coming out.
Well, I foresee,
definitely come out. And I am waiting for the truth. I still want to talk about it on trending once the truth is out.
Well, I know Mercy will trend on that very issue. This is what she thrives on. No
you know that already.
But anyways, that's much we can take on the paper review. And we'll just employ you like we always would. Go grab a copy of the papers and read up and get informed. But what I'll inform you now is we'll go on the break now. But when we come back, dialogue will take center stage right here on Viewpoint on Atlantic TV.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace. Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together we can end it. Together we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV. Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together we can end it. Together we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV. Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together we can end it. Together we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV. Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together we can end it. Together we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
The federal government has commenced the final phase of negotiation with the Academic Staff Union of Universities and other tertiary education unions to avert a fresh industrial action. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Aluasa, disclosed this in Abuja on Wednesday during a meeting of the Technical Working Group on the Condition of Service for University Lecturers. He expressed optimism that the remaining issues with the union would soon be resolved, noting that the group was finalizing a counter-offer to be presented to the union through the Allied General United Federal Government Tertiary Institution Negotiation Committee. Now, according to him, the move aligns with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's directive that all necessary steps must be taken to keep Nigerian students in school present and ensured that no disruption to the academic calendar. The minister explained that about 80% of the union's demand are common across all tertiary institutions, while the remaining 20% reflected sector-specific concerns. He added that the committee inaugurated earlier in the week had begun intensive deliberation to fast-track the agreement and also its implementation timeline. If you recall, ASU, in a strike bulletin to the members on Monday, directed branches to prepare for a 2-week warning strike expected to commence on October the 13th. The planned action follows an earlier 2-week ultimatum issued by the union last week over when it described as the government continued failure to address outstanding issues, including the signing and implementation of the renegotiated 2009 ASU federal government agreement. But the question today will be, will the recent move by the federal government help to stop the proposed plan action by ASU on embarking on an industrial action, and would, and I emphasize, would these be the last as it concerns the lingering issue of the disagreement between the union and federal government? Well, these and more as it concerns the issue, or rather, this very issue is what this edition of Dialogue is all about. And we're talking about strike, federal government, and ASU in high-stake talk. And that's what we're looking at today on the show, knowing that it's even on a major one on the front pages of the dailies today. Will there be a continued strike action between the federal government, or rather between ASU going on or embarking on a strike, or will the federal government recent move help to dazzle and indeed help avert any industrial action, knowing that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has insisted that no child will remain at home and disturb its academic calendar. But anyway, on that note, we'll be having this lovely discussion. And to join us to really look at this issue is no other but the ASU chairman of FUPRI right here in Delta State. And I'm talking about Engineer Dr. Wilfred Okologume. Good morning and welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Mike, and good morning to
Well, yes, we'll be looking at the recent dialogue between the federal government and especially your union as it concerns the impending industrial action that is planned for on the 13th of this very month. But before we do that, I'm really even excited having you on this platform because of what transpired yesterday at your institution. And we're talking about the protests that were carried out by students of FUPRI just yesterday. Many will say, well, it's one that surprised many, especially looking at how really stable that educational environment has been over the years. Big credit to the management of your institution. But before we go deep into our discussion, I want you to really help us understand what really happened yesterday. Why was there a big protest orchestrated by the student of that very great institution?
It's something that I'll say as an institution we are not proud of, we are not happy of what transparent, like you alluded, we've been having a smooth run of academic activities. So it's regrettable that what called occurred. But I think what led to it was the dissemination of an unverified memo that was circulated among the student community and shown. I think the details of that memo had maybe proposed new charges, and the student community didn't see that well. Like I said, it's an unverified that circulated. We don't know how because the document was not signed.
Okay.
It's not something you can hit your chest to say it's a legal text. It was not signed, and the students were reacting to it. Even when their leadership have been engaging university administration on this, and it has not been finalized. So we don't really know what transpired. There are so many school of thought to the narrative stand against this signing out party and ceremony by students. And this same week, a lot of them are expected to sign out. So we don't really know what was the instigating factors. And that was what transpired. But the beauty of it is that they have been resolved because the university administration immediately released a disclaimer to the document circulated that led to the student arrest. The university administration released a disclaimer to that. And also, we are in an academic environment where a lot of our students are through the sessional exams. So normally the session was supposed to end tomorrow, Friday. So the wisdom of the university senate also, instead of allowing this to persist, if you say you continue the last paper this morning, and whether you like it or not, whether the student participated in protest or they did not participate, psychologically they will be affected in terms of their preparation to write exam this morning. And if it does not take place this morning, an exam, the last paper did not also hold yesterday, the danger to it, spilling it over to next week, would cut up with this ASU strike that we're talking about, which will be a big blow. So the Senate aroused from an emergency meeting yesterday to put an end to the 2024-2025 session, so that our students do not lose in terms of their residency and their timeline. so that whenever the issue is resolved and the strike debacle is resolved, the few that have exams, it will just be called off. Then we know those that have finished exam will also be resuming the new session. So I think the University Senate should be commended for that approach. But if that was not done quickly yesterday, this would have snowballed into
Yeah.
extending the student stay on
Okay.
campus. So the session would have been elongated. So I believe it's just also mentioned to us. Like I said, any person that feel aggrieved usually have a right to their clamor, but be the victim of your own actions.
Yeah.
For the fact that the university administration have responded to put a disclaimer, I think that should suffice and put a stop to this, because I'm aware that the leadership of the students at National were in campus a few days ago on this issue. And I think the students should trust their leaders. They should trust their leaders and see how it's not by confrontation. You made your point. The essence of protest is to draw attention, and that has been achieved. So it is time to share the sword and see how the issues will be closed out. And like I said, the management have issued a disclaimer. The University Senate have taken a position to still safeguard their residency, and I think the school should be commended for that. That's the little I can say with regards to what transpired. Like I mentioned, that there have been issues.
Well, thank you for
Incredible.
that very clarity, because you know, we're really concerned, knowing that have any issues that concerns protests, and seeing that played out yesterday give everybody a need to be concerned. But let's go on that very issue. We want to understand how things are at the moment. Are things really now calm, and are they really going about their normal academic activities without any perceived sign of further protest?
Yeah, as at even yesterday,
Yes.
during the Senate meeting, when the Senate meeting was on, and often after the Senate meeting, immediately the students exited the east-west route,
Yeah.
especially when Senate arose to close the 2024-2025 academic session, which normally would have closed tomorrow, Friday. So because of this unfortunate situation, Senate had to take a decision rather than Friday, and I think a lot of the students since yesterday they have been vacating university there. And some of their parents are around also getting them even up to this morning. So presently, things are normal in the university. Academic activities is on.
Okay.
It's just that for the undergraduate program, the session has ended, but the postgraduate program, all other activities are still ongoing. So the campus is very, very calm. We commend our students also for their resilience, and we also commending them for respecting the stand on the University Senate and exiting the East-West Road immediately, because it's not really good for our image.
Yeah.
You've made your point, your message has been heard, and it has been addressed.
Okay. Okay, now let's leave that. Thank you for that clarity and giving us first-hand knowledge of what seems to be, especially in that very institution. But now let's dive deep into our main discourse for today, and it's the issue of the negotiation, as the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji, has said. Now, let's just quickly go to it. There's every indication with our own information on ground that there seems to be a meeting. Let's get that clarity first. Is there already an existing meeting between the federal government and your union in addressing the perceived or the proposed strike action that is to commence on the 13th? Let's get that first clear.
Well, for those of us in the branches of our union, I cannot really confirm that, because we've not gotten a confirmation or update from our national leadership.
Okay.
But the truth is this: you remember the last time we were here on this subject matter,
Yes.
it boils to a common thing, the issue of trust.
Yes.
And Nigerians will always think that also always resort to strike. And that's why we keep saying, let us look at the cause of the issue without looking at the effect. Now, the problem is this. Recall in our last discussion,
Yes.
we were able to analyze successive committees and timelines that government has given.
Yeah.
And that last discussion, government also gave timeline to the union that they should be given 3 weeks, which allows from the 25th of September to get back to the union, which they never did.
So
Now, the union issued an
excuse me,
ultimatum.
Dr. Wilfred, Engineer
Yeah.
Wilfred, are you saying, because we still remember that there was an ultimatum given by your union in dealing with the issue, they gave a 2 weeks notice before now bringing this recent one that only came out on Monday. Are you saying within that period, there was no dialogue between your union and the federal government. The federal government never came for a proposed meeting between your union and them in these negotiations. Is that what you are saying?
Yeah, my brother, I can't misread it. Actually, the government gave 2 weeks to get back to the union. The union, in her wisdom, extended it to 3 weeks, which elapsed September 25th. And within that timeline, there was no contact. This counter offer that we are talking about now, that the minister is saying now, was what they said that they would get back to the union within that timeline, which they never did. There was no comment, no counter offer, no discussion. Everywhere were just stalemate. Now, the union on the 29th of September now had just a neck meeting to review the situation and ask ourselves, how long can we continue in this scenario? And NEC, in our wisdom, haven't collected referendum from our branches, because the way decisions are taken in our union is bottom top. So our branches have collected referendum, looked at it, collected it, and arose, giving government 2 weeks notice for an initial 2 weeks warning strike in the first instance. Now, the first 1 week of that 2 week notice elapsed, while in the final week, just few days to the commencement of the industrial action, now you are setting up another committee upon committee. You are setting up another committee now to quickly discuss the counter offer. So I don't know. I just believe something is going, a magic is going to happen between now and midnight of Monday, because I don't know. Because when you set up the committee now, at what point now you expected to give a feedback then, which will be resolved and sign off? At what point will that be discussed? At what point will it be signed off? At what point will it get to the president for endorsement before it now becomes a working document to avert what is going to play out next week? I think it's all about sincerity and trust. This is a narrative. I just pray they are sincere this time around. They're able to resolve it. But for some of us, we see this as a narrative to probably smear the image of the union. But Nigeria should know one thing. Nigeria should know one thing, which is very fundamental. Strike is always the last resort. It's not something we enjoy. And before now, if you look at the media space, we have been having media advocacy, several press releases, several protests, peaceful protests with placards, driving up our point, writing several letters, and nothing. And now we are getting to what, in quote, we are usually accused of. Now they are rising to say they want to quickly resolve it in less. Let's hope they are able to do the magic.
Okay, now, well, Engineer Wilfred Okologume, I would need to really say this. Yeah, let's see how that magic, as you put it, will work within the perceived timeline to avert that proposed industrial action that is expected to commence on October the 13th. But let's look at the lingering issues, because we're also able to get his statement as it concerns the meeting he said he has had with top management of your union. And in that this thing he brought out, statement he brought out, he talked about one major and standing issue that seems to have arisen on account of your demands. And he talked about the issue of the money being released as it concerns what your union needs. And with what we'll see, because I will not want to take him out of context, but I have to take him direct on what he said. Now, he stated that significant progress has been made with the release of 50 billion naira for the payment of the end academic allowance, while another 150 billion naira had been captured. This is where my emphasis is, has been captured in the 2025 budget for need assessment to be disbursed in 3 trenches. Now, Engineer Dr. Wilfred Okologume, he's now saying that money has already been, 15 billion has been released for the end allowances. And he's saying that the 150 billion has also been put into the 2025 mid-assessment budget, which means the money is not going, I know why you are smiling. The money is not going to come suddenly. It will come in trenches. Now, if it comes with that trenches, would your union not just look at what you have said and just, okay, subpedal as it concerns this very issue? So my question is, has the 50 billion been released, and will your union go ahead to allow it to follow in trenches?
All right, thank you very much. It's beautiful you say, I'm smiling, so it's good that I let our viewers also know why I'm actually smiling, so that they'll know what you know. Now, you see, this has been the approach of our government, successive government, and our current government. If you look at the history of this narrative, let's start with the talk about revitalization, this assessment.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be about 1.2, 1.3 trillion naira released in three different tranches.
Yeah.
It's six tranches of 200 billion each, which government only released then the first tranche and never did again. Now, looking at that same narrative, the same government, recently, present government said, okay, among that money, 150 billion have been budgeted for. And we
Yes.
started clamoring earlier, media advocacy, protest, writing letters to them, and in trying to resolve the issues of that. And I said, okay, we will resolve it. The money is not available, yes, it's budgeted for, but what we do is to immediately release 50 billion out of it.
Yes.
With a timeline there of about
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Okay.
We are still on that. The 50 billion are not. It's all about trust and sincerity. That's what the needs assessment. Sorry to say, in quote, talk is cheap. We're looking at action. It's not just me saying it. This has been said before now. Now let's talk about the issue of the end academic allowance.
Yes.
That they also say 50 billion has been released.
Released.
For the record, what got to academic staff was 40 billion. But what was appropriated for? If you look at the 2025 Appropriation Act, which is a law, the line item for that is 50 billion
60
naira
billion.
for end academic. Wait, I'm giving you the budget line. 50 billion naira for end academic allowance in bracket FGN ASU agreement. But at the end of the day, what was released was 40 billion. What got to academic staff as 40 billion, not only 50. But we're not debating too much on that.
Okay.
But we should understand something that what Google gave rise to that 50 billion, not that 50 billion was actually the arrears of our end academic allowance.
Yeah, we know.
50 billion was far less than what we were entitled to. But in moving forward, the union said, okay, we will consider writing off the other aspects of it. Let's, out of goodwill from us, let us accept this 50 billion. Then we should work towards mainstreaming this in the 2025 and 2026 appropriation,
Yes.
so that we don't need to keep agitating for it to happen. Also, the same government has said that they have given instructions to university administration for 2025 to start paying that same end academic allowance. You can fact check. No federal institution have been able to make that payment because it was not
Well,
appropriated.
are you saying no federal institution have been able to pay any of that very amount?
For 2025 appropriation, 2025, because what government released as 50, announced as 50 billion, that they eventually released 40 billion, was meant for the arrears up to 2024.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Which we said, okay, let us write off the past so that we don't keep
And move
clamoring
ahead
for
with
it,
the
for it.
future.
Let it start coming regularly. And government has said, okay, in coming regularly, we are giving instruction and directive to university administration to be paying. While from 2026, government will take over the payment by having sure that it is part of the 2026 budget. And I'm telling you now, for federal university, that of 2025 have not even commenced. And we are already in October. You understand? I think our union, we are very patient, we are very considering. Because when you talk about excess work, there are different components of any academic allowance. A lot of our colleagues are holding responsibility, which means they are doing extra job outside their core mandate as an academic. And there's no kobo attached to such responsibility as responsibility allowance. And which is an extra duty. Nobody
now-
is saying come and give to academics what they are not deserving. Nobody is saying that.
Okay.
It is what they are deserving, give it to them.
Okay, now I will still take you up on the issue of wages and allowance. Also stated, he said that promotion arrears and also allowances, including and wage award, have been also stated obligation will be cleared in the year of 2026. That's what he stated.
Well, I like the fact that you are quoting his statement. Now, you talk about promotion arrears, you talk about wage award arrears too, which initially they said it was appropriated for. Our colleagues in other sector of the Nigeria public service have got their wage award arrears too. But today, in Ember months, you are now saying what we have been clamoring and discussing with you since, that you keep promising us that you will do. You are not telling us now that it will be part of next year's budget. It's a matter of trust factor. We want to believe you. If only this time around, resolve the issue so that even when you tell us it's going to be in 10 years' time, and we see that you are sincere with it, and we know when it gets to 10 years' time, you deliver, it's better than tell us it's going to be tomorrow, then tomorrow you come again, you say another tomorrow, it now end up being tomorrow never comes. No.
So are you saying nobody has been paid that money, especially from your union?
For 2025 respiratory allowance or other academic allowance that our members are entitled to for this calendar year 2025, nobody, to the best of our knowledge and the data available to the union, as far as federal institutions is concerned, nobody. And the funny thing is, some of these things that we are clamoring, some of our colleagues in state universities, the state government have started implementing.
Wow.
Some state government have started implementing. I don't know this, but I'll tell you, federal universities, they are the least paid compared to some state universities and even some private universities.
Hello,
some
engineer.
of these things were clamoring are being implemented by those other proprietors.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Following the agreement template we have entered between the union and federal government, which is supposed to cascade down. So I'm implementing the top man, the top leader, which is the federal government, why they are holding back. That was why we quickly the proliferation of universities should stop, because the resources are usually scarce.
Yeah.
So you need to prioritize how you allocate scarce resources, not by duplicating functions and roles. That at the end of the day, you expect persons to do magic, and tomorrow will complain that our products are not where to do. It's big university education. This what we are saying. Look at society here up to this point. You are seeing the effect of some of this failure from government playing even secondary school. Look at WAEC result. Look at JAM result. These are going down the drain. Down the drain rather. And if we don't quickly put a nip to it, then we are not ready. And that's belief that Nigeria should look at it from this context. ASU is not being selfish. We are being patriotic. Very, very patriotic. Because as it stands today, ASU is considered the only union that is advocating for the betterment of public tertiary education, especially in universities in this country. And if we relax and sleep, only God knows what will happen. Only God knows what will happen. You just mentioned that our students protested. Okay, good. Remember, at some point in time, we kicked against introduction of tuition. When the same government was proposing to introduce tuition fee, we said no. What the students were when we protesting for, this is not even school fees, it's not tuition fee, it is service charges. Note, if government was adequately funding the university and infrastructure maintenance, what will make university administration to normally charge students for services? It's because the funds is not coming, and the student needs to be given such services. They need to have the enabling environment. They need to have power and what's this? Who pays for it? Where the proprietary government is not bringing the money. You understand? And they said net fund. You see, part of the reason we don't advocate for net fund. Sometimes university administration engage the government and say, don't worry, put the charges here. Any student that cannot pay, tell them to go and take a student loan. So parents also be part of the struggle when ASU speak. These are some of the things that we foresaw. And people said, what concerns us with net fund? Is it our money? But today, just with a rumor, not that it has been implemented, not that it is even valid, an unsigned document, you saw the reaction from our own students. So people should see how patriotic we are in our approach. And that's why we're saying, government, you have waited this long. You want to blackmail the union to say, hey, we have made an offer. Make the offer. Let's see the counter offer. Not just 2 hours to the timeline. Because the issue is that
Dr. Engineer Wilfred, I'll plead with you to hold on. I understand why you're talking with this passion. Well, but talking about making it enforceable, I also, or rather we learned on dialogue yesterday, that the minister also said that this will be the first time the Solicitor General will be joining the meeting. And he said the reason that this is happening is to put a legal binding. I'll go to his statement because I don't want to sound or take him out of context. Now he said This will be the first time the Solicitor General will be joining on the meeting. And this is to ensure that all agreement reached will be enforceable and true. That's he's talking about the legal part of it. He said, for the first time, the Solicitor General of the Federation and officials of the Ministry of Justice were directly involved in the negotiations process to ensure legal soundness and enforceability of the agreement. Now, my question is, looking at this as the first time this is happening, do you feel anything that will definitely come out of this meeting will be totally binding? And do you feel that when we've not had the legal part of the government joining in successive agreement, that's why we're still going back and forth on what they've agreed and what they did not agree on? So let's understand that. Do you feel this will help out, that the Solicitor General of the Federation and also the legal team of this very administration is a part of this meeting?
I would not want to speak based on my feeling, but rather I want to hope he does. But if you look at it from a different narrative, don't you think that could also amount to an indictment on the part of government? If government is saying they have entered into unions before now and they don't implement it, so they are now bringing the Solicitor General so that to show us a good way that this time around we will implement it. That's why we are bringing Solicitor General to say it's illegal. That to tell you in quote, maybe they don't trust their approaches. Because they trust the fact that they are sincere with it, that is not really that necessary. But since they are bringing that option too, we commend them acknowledging indirectly that they have not been sincere up to this point, and they want to show that level of sincerity by bringing the Solicitor General, so that at the end of the day, whatever agreement that will be entered can be enforceable in the law court. If that's what they are looking at, okay, we commend them, and let us hope, it's not about my feeling, let us hope that if the agreement is entered based on collective bargaining agreement, not based on what you award or what you enforce, it should be based on what is agreed. Then let's see how it plays out. It's about hoping, not what I feel. Because if it's about what I feel, looking at previous experience.
Don't you feel, okay, you said it's not what you feel, but is that not the reason that they do not have a legal team as part of the agreement in the successive agreement? That's why most of what they talked about was not binding. Maybe they felt that maybe the union was almost untwisting them, but now they have a legal team that will look at the legal implication of any agreement they reached to ensure that it's binding.
Like I said, to me, I might be wrong, but it's an indirect induction to say they have said, as when they were meeting the unions in the past, they were not sure of what they were doing. So it's an indictment, acceptance of fault. And that's why I'm saying it's not about what I feel. It should be about what I hope. If this time around the agreement is mutual and both parties are happy and they are saying it should be enforceable, then they should do it. But note that if they are sincere, they shouldn't be even looking at the option where it will go fast litigation to enforce what has been agreed. That option is too extreme. But let's just trust them. It's their approach. Yeah, we commend them. If they believe in that their approach, let them do. Our own is let us put action to the words we speak. That's what we are looking at.
Okay, I will plead with you, Engineer Dr. Wilfred. We need to go on a break now, but just remain with us. We'll come back and we need to pay our bills. And when we do, we'll continue our discussion as we'll also be looking at the way forward. Yes, what will be the way forward, especially as it concerns resolving this lingering issue that will be traceable back to 2009 very agreement. Let's go on a break.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Tikado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at tikado.com.ng. Tikado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace. When the lights go out, who do you call? Tikado! Tikado Energy Solutions Limited. Your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Tikado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Tikado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at tikado.com.ng. Tikado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together we can end it. Together we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
And the federal government and Nigerians should be relaxed and not to have that fear of the institution, or rather the institutions going on strike. But the questions still remain. How true is that very meeting, and how really will those meetings help to resolve the contending issues? All of that is what we are still deliberating on this edition of our dialogue today. But let's bring back the ASU chairman of FUPRI. I'm talking about Engineer Dr. Wilfred Okolugume. Well, thank you back for being with us and for your patience while we go for to get those commercials. But let's now return to the issue. Now, I'm a bit concerned, and my concern is that we have so many demands or awaiting demands that have not been reached by the federal government concerning what your union has really been looking out for. And we know there's almost a 5-point demand, major demands that the union is seeking for. And many will say, okay, well, if one or two of these demands are being met, or that's more like meeting you guys halfway or midway. Now, for you, what would your union really get? And we're talking about the demands, which is more pressing, and if 2 or 3 of which demand will be met, because that's what he's pleading. He's pleading that, please, you guys should understand that they'll try and meet so demands, and others will come in trenches, like he said, and they'll be forthcoming as it goes. So for you, which is the most pressing demand that you feel the federal government has to reach, and reach on time to avert any strike?
Direct answer to your question is the one that has to do with our condition of service,
Okay.
our salary structure. Because we've been
Okay.
on salary structure since 2009, and only the 2009 agreement has components for it to be reviewed every 3 years, which has never been done. And we were close to resolving this debacle with the late Nimi Briggs-led committee, which agreed and resolved with us as at 2021, but government failed to sign it off. And that is why they also inaugurated the Yahya Ahmed Committee. And that committee, in our wisdom, had to start from the Nimibi's committee because at today, the components of the draft agreement then in the Nimibi's report are not realistic. Looking at the economic times to find ourselves. That has been the basis of the new negotiation. And as a way of goodwill from our part, so that we understand, you just say 5 point demand. When you talk about EAA that they have answered us, we let go of a major component of what we were entitled to as part of goodwill. To just okay, government, okay, let us leave this other percentage of what we are entitled to, the major chunk of it. Let us leave it as a way of goodwill, so that we focus on resolving the key issues. The same way we said, okay, let us release the aspect of releasing 600 billion. Okay, we agree with you 150 billion naira, release it in tranches of three first for the year. Of course, you are aware up to now, the first 50 billion have not even
Be
been
released.
released. So I don't really see where the fulfillment of some of these demands have been met. But to resolve this issue is tied under three key fundamental issues:
Okay.
sincerity, trust, and implementation. That is just what it is. Sincerity, trust, and implementation. It resolves the issue immediately. We must not go to the extreme to call our member or our members demand that we should embark on strike before you now see the need and the seriousness behind resolving this issue. It's a gap for so long that it's not helping our education and university system. That's just the truth. So I think, like I mentioned, the first and the most important should be the ones that has to be condition of service and salary structure, which needs to quickly be reviewed and a new salary structure announced. Because, like I mentioned, some of our counterparts in some state universities or private universities are far doing exceedingly better than us. And outside that, looking at the African average, we are far below as a nation. And university is universal; it's a global community. And for you to compete favorably with counterparts elsewhere, you must be almost on a measurable scale. You must use the same kind of indices, and that's what we are saying. People do not should not think that when we say welfare condition of service is because it affects us. It's for us to be quite competitive, so that at the end of the day, we should be able to come out with solutions that can be domesticated as no solution, and they become home and will solve Nigeria problems. Go to most of our institutions, infrastructure wise, without tech for nothing. And that's where the union still needs to be commended, because third fund is a baby of ASU. Because we propose alternative funding to government by introducing education tax, and government has said, oh, since this is working, they're shying away from their key responsibility. So that's why we are being careful with this narrative. So it needs to be solved. When you talk about staff development in most universities now, it's only third fund. Without third fund, nothing. How do you grow your economy when you understand it's not even making any attempt to grow? That is one big question that they need to answer. If they answer that question, then they know why they need to be sincere and work with us in synergy to resolve these issues. We want also, as a way of solution, let us have indices that tie these reviews to inflation, so that we don't need to keep clamoring. We could have it as a standing committee. When dynamics change, it happens in the private sector. When dynamics change, the employers already knows what to do and how to easily adjust. But in the private sector, you see that you want labor unions to clamor and to no. That shouldn't be what it is. The
You know,
same way that they are changing their DTS and their allowances as things changes, that's the same
now,
policy they
Dr.
should adopt.
Dr. Wilfred, I'll plead with you to hold on, because that's where my next question will go. Now, some part of the government feels your union is always so quick to giving ultimatum, always so quick to issue threats, and also the issue of strike. And my question now is, should there not be an avenue at the sideline that brings about negotiation, so we do not come to this aspect of ultimatum being given and also strike action being taken? Because that's what some part of the government feels, that your union is just so quick in issuing threats and also demands.
All right, thank you very much. Well, they take responsibility for the way they think, but I think Nigerians can judge us correctly that when this issue has started, They also give timeline and they fail in their timeline. We remind them through press release. Nigerians are aware when they also give a 2 week, 3 weeks notice or timeline that they will get back to us, which elapses in September. Not we, and they fail. They will now a notice for industrial action. First 1 week elapsed, they did not come back. Few days to the expiration of the notice, then they are now rushing, then want to blackmail into this concept. No, 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 no. Let's be sincere with the fact that it's the public domain. We are not too quick to give. They are failing. They are too slow to act.
Well, anyway, it's just more of a direct answer. Now, I'm really, really also concerned, especially Nigerians, of the impact this continuous back and forth will have on the educational sector. Now, I'm really also, I know you are a part of the union, but I'll plead with you to take yourself away from it and look at a really broader aspect. Do you feel this continuous back and forth has really impacted negatively on the educational sector and also giving us more of a negative rating as it concerns our public government tertiary institutions? Because you agree with me that many Nigerians, if it was not for the funds, they would rather prefer private institutions that they understand the timeline that their children will graduate and leave the four walls of the university, rather than having them in public universities. And also, when they will graduate is only when any prophecy, prophet can really prophesy that, well, this will be the due date for your child to leave the school. So let's look at it. Do you feel this is really impacting negatively on our public institutions?
Yeah, thank you very much. Of course, it's not, it is. And that's part of the reason we're clamoring for a stop to some of this narrative. The truth is this: one thing clear, it's not really about to education, it should be access to quality education.
Yeah.
Quality education. It's not because you go to school and you graduate within the time. And what are you being taught? What were you trained for? What do you know at the end of the day? What can you carry out bragging right to be what you have capacity for? And that is why we are clamoring that if the infrastructure is not there, the enabling environment is not there, the workforce is not properly motivated, how do you think they will impart the right knowledge to the student? It's not about saying, okay, no, let's just keep the system like come to work if you like, do anything. They are far, let the student not graduate. They will end up looking at paper certificate, hard skills, instead of promoting soft skills, what they know. And that's what we are clamoring for. That's just the truth. We don't enjoy this, and we don't like the fact that God will want us to be the ones that will not take charge to say, yes, you must do what you are supposed to do. You see, owning a university, the way government established university, it's like a parent who choose to marry, whether your spouse and your child. If you want, you can fine. If you cannot get yourself, you have no business having 7 children, then you are expect others to train your children for you. You have no business. You work within your space. That's the simple fact. So our clamor is for quality education. The danger to this is this. Yeah. When the workforce is not motivated, we have empirical evidence to show what I'm saying now. Yeah. A lot of our colleagues have left the shores of this country and doing excellently well, even neighboring African countries. Is that what we want for ourselves? I don't want to go personal, but I can play if I'm permitted, maybe some share with you private.
Yeah.
I can for of nothing less than 4.9 million. Now, what if someone don't do so? Then you now see Nigeria will keep losing our best brains. And that is why, for me, the narrative of losing best should not change to the West gaining brains.
Yeah.
They are gaining brains. Why we are losing? Because of our failure. And that's why I will summarize this my position to the fact that we are pained because we are advocating for quality education. And the ruling class are just looking at access to education by opening so many schools, call it a university. When you go there, you don't see anything that liking it as a university. At the end of the day, you turn out to come out with graduates that cannot measure up to the other clients. Is that what we want for ourselves as a nation? I'll tell you no. And like I said before we went on break, it is cascaded down to our entire educational structure. Look at the kind of results we are getting from O-level, WAEC, and JAM. Is that what we should be proud of as a nation? That in today's world we admit students that are below average? because of failure of governance in focusing on education, having the right funding, UNESCO recommended funding, which we are a party and signature to, and we are happy and celebrating it. It's not I think Nigeria should be happy about. We should take it, join the union, let us solve this once and for all, and see what the future will be like.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And I know time is not a friend, but we'll not let you go if we do not also address this. Now, there's a recent push in the National Assembly that there should be a bill that will mandate public office holders to ensure that their children remain in Nigerian institutions. And if you're a public office holder, your child is not here, then that will be issue. Now, two quick questions. This might sound a bit funny. It looks as if we are really on a heated one since we started this discussion. Now, do you see that really happening in your own assessment, number one? And if, and I'm just saying if it finally does happen, do you see this correcting all these wrongs you've just highlighted?
Okay, I like looking at the cause of an issue without before looking at the effect. Okay. Why are some proponents looking at that option? Because sometimes where you should know where it pinches. If you are not part of it, you will not know how it feels. You understand? That's why a lot of commentators are thinking because they don't feel it, they don't know what is happening. That's why they feel this narrative are just real things. Well, let them keep talking. You keep them talking syndrome. And they will talk, they will get tired. Recall, in the earliest days of Nigeria university system, we were doing very well. Yeah. You have these childs, the children of the elites, the children of the elites in public institutions. You understand, the earliest days. And that is why I think some proponents are thinking, since they have started moving their words away, they don't know what is happening. Maybe if we reverse to the formula of the earliest days, it could address some of these issues. But do I see it happening? That is something, like I said, I hope it happens. But do you think they want to make it happen? No. But if they want to make it happen, they should get system running. If they are not proud, the idea is if they are not proud of the system they lead, then it's an indictment. And I think that's what that narrative is. They should be proud of our educational space. They should be proud to say they have their children in our universities. So that all of us collectively as a nation, we should be proud of our educational system. That's the idea behind that narrative.
Well, anyway, I'll need to thank you. And I would have loved to ask one final question, but I know you will never give us a total answer because those negotiations are still ongoing. My question would have been, are we still going to expect any strike anytime soon? 13th of October it is, but the deliberation is there. So I don't want to sound as a prophet of doom. But would your union go on strike if? Of
course, I will answer you. I will answer you. As it stands, the decision of the branches, the decision of the NEC is that on the 12 midnight 13th of October, a national strike will commence. That is the status as it stands. That's the current situation as at this moment. So from 14th, all public universities will be shut down for 2 weeks in the first instance. That is the current situation on ground. So it's not something that I cannot answer. That's the current situation because that's what our members have mandated us to do. So we're speaking the voice of us. That's the current situation. So it's not something we need a prophet to predict.
Well, anyway, on that very sad note, because it will be sad for Nigerians to see that we are returning to the era.
Use sad, use regrettable or fortunate.
Okay, regrettable note. Thank you so much. I would rather put regrettable note. But our hope and our prayers, because all you've been saying is hope, 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 and hope. So we will also hope. Our hope and prayers will be that there will be a negotiation between your union and the federal government, and a quick one before 12 midnight of 12th of October 2025. But before, we just hope and we pray also. We'll put on our prayer garments and see how that will come to reality. But what I will need to say is thank you so very much. And I'm talking about the ASU chairman of FUPRI, Engineer Dr. Wilfred Okologume. You are always there to give us an update. You are always there to really talk to Nigerians on the pain of your union and your wish to see a better, more robust working environment that you have, and also a more robust tertiary institution that Nigerians will be truly proud. Thank you so much for always obliging us. Anytime we call on you, we truly appreciate that. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity too.
Well, thank
Thanks to our listeners and our viewers.
Thank you. Well, anyway, that's more like a wrap today on the show, and while it will still always continue. And you know that's what we always do on Dialogue. We bring you critical, major issues that seem to be on the front burner in the country, and we do not shy away from talking about it. We bring it on the table for all of us to dialogue and see a way forward. But the way forward now is for you to drop your comment on our different social media platforms as it concerns this discussion. What do you feel the federal government needs to do? What should the union do to avert all of this? Let's get your thoughts. Our social media accounts will soon be on your screen so that you definitely go drop your comments. Remember to like, share, and also participate in our discussions, and we'll be truly grateful to have your comment. But for me, Michael Gobadia, I'll just say, well, God willing, we'll see it come tomorrow. But still stay and remain with definitely Atlantic TV. Viewpoint it is, because the news will come around the hour, and most certainly, a lot to trend about that you will love to be a part of right here on the show. Bye for now.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different. 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 Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Hello and welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I am Nkechi Tejere. Here are our top stories. Federal government urges states to adopt workplace safety as key to productivity. LP Caucus accuses Deputy Speaker Kalu of inciting federal government against Abia government. Aviation unions threaten fresh strike as NIMET over unfulfilled FG agreement. IMF chief, global economy performing better than feared. Salah fires Egypt to 2026 World Cup qualification with double brace. Now to the news in full. The federal government is calling on state governments across Nigeria to make workplace safety a core part of their productivity agenda. Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Nkiruka Onyediocha, made the call at the 2025 Lagos State Occupational Safety and Health Conference, themed Occupational Safety and Health as a Catalyst for Nation Building. She praised the Lagos State government and the Lagos State Safety Commission for their proactive role in promoting workplace safety and setting a model for other states to emulate. The minister reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to partnering with states and private sector players in strengthening occupational safety nationwide, aligning with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda for job creation and worker welfare. Onyediocha stressed that a safe and healthy workplace remains the bedrock of productivity and economic growth. She noted that when safety is prioritized, workers perform better, businesses thrive, and national productivity is enhanced. She urged employers, trade unions, and civil society to collaborate in building a safety-first culture across workplaces, ensuring every Nigerian worker, both in the formal and informal sector, is protected. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is expected to inaugurate Nigeria's biggest lithium processing plant in Nasarawa State following the completion of the 66,000 tons capacity facility. Governor Abdullahi Sule made the announcement during the launch of the October 2025 Nigeria Development Update, themed From Policy to People, Bringing the Reform Gains Home. He confirmed that the president had agreed to attend the commissioning, though a specific date is yet to be announced. Governor Sule added that beyond mining and oil exploration, human capital development remains central to Nasarawa's growth agenda. The lithium plant forms part of the federal government's broader drive to boost solid mineral exports, create jobs, and attract foreign investment to Nigeria's mining sector. Tinubu's expected inauguration of the plant will mark another major milestone in the administration's push for industrial expansion and economic reform. The governor explained that the project aligns with the state's vision for sustainable development and economic diversification. He also lamented that state governments receive only 26% of federal allocations, despite public misconceptions that governors receive the bulk of national revenue. According to him, 52% goes to the federal government, 26% to the 36 states, and 20% to local governments. Members of the Labour Party caucus in the House of Representatives have accused the Deputy Speaker, Right Honourable Benjamin Kalu, of allegedly working to incite the federal government against the Abia State government for selfish political reasons. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the caucus expressed disappointment that rather using his number 6 position in national leadership to promote Abia's progress, Kalu has chosen to launch verbal attacks on Governor Alex Oti. The lawmakers described Kalu's recent comments as provocative and divisive, alleging that he has adopted a pattern of spreading falsehoods to discredit the state government. Honorable Kalu has carried on with arrogance and recklessness, making inflammatory and sycophantic remarks aimed at pitching the federal government against Governor Oti, the statement said. The LP caucus also challenged the Deputy Speaker to use his national influence to attract more federal projects to Abia State, rather than engage in political blackmail. They highlighted several ongoing projects initiated under Governor Oti, including the Port Harcourt Road, Ohafia Arochukwu Road, Omenuko Bridge, and the Umuahia Ikotek Benedual Carriageway, describing them as proof of purposeful governance. The caucus urged Abians and Nigerians to disregard Kalu's empty boasts, insisting that his actions are motivated by personal ambition, not service to the people. The Labour Party members further criticized Kalu for what they called political ingratitude, recalling that Governor Oti and Abia LP lawmakers had supported his emergence as Deputy Speaker. They noted that Oti even hosted an elaborate reception in Kalu's honor, a gesture they say should have been met with cooperation, not hostility. Instead of reciprocating goodwill, Honorable Kalu has chosen to stoke political disharmony in Abia State, the caucus said. The lawmakers urged him to engage in sober self-reflection, adding that arrogance and divisive rhetoric are unbefitting of his office. Former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has responded to critics labeling his supporters, known as Obedients, as street urchins. In a statement on Wednesday, Obi said his brand of politics is rooted in humanity and focused on identifying with ordinary Nigerians, not the privileged elite. This comes after a viral video by former Labour Party chieftain Kenneth Okonkwo, who accused Obi of attracting classless street urchins and failing to control his supporters online. Obi further argued that the habit of looking down on the less privileged reflects the state of inequality and hardship in the country. He said, and I quote, "We can only rise by lifting others. Those who despise the ordinary citizens forget that they are the true foundation of our nation." The Labour Party flag bearer reaffirmed his commitment to people-centered leadership and inclusive governance, noting that politics must be about service, not status. Reacting to the remarks, Obi described such comments as deeply unfortunate, stressing that every Nigerian deserves dignity and respect, regardless of social or economic status. He stated, "Humanity is paramount in my politics. I have never and will never look down on anyone except to lift them up." The former Anambra State governor emphasized that his political journey has never been about mingling with the so-called high and mighty, but standing with everyday Nigerians whose voices, he said, have long been silenced by the elite. You're watching our daily news roundup. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, more news stories on the business front.
All right, my name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor AD.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is my wife, and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Welcome back. 6 months after suspending their industrial action, aviation unions have again threatened to shut down operations at the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, over what they describe as the government's failure to honor key agreements. In a letter addressed to the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, dated October 2nd, the unions warned that if pending issues are not resolved by next week Wednesday, workers will resume their suspended strike. The letter, signed by NOATE Deputy General Secretary Odinaka Ibokwe and ANAP Secretary General Abdul Rasak Saidu, highlighted unresolved matters including 9 months of unpaid 2019 minimum wage arrears and non-payment of 30 omitted staff members. The aviation unions further warned that if their demands are not met by October 15th, they would have no choice but to resume the suspended industrial action. They insist that workers at NIMET deserve fair treatment and fulfillment of all agreements signed earlier in the year. The unions emphasized that the next phase of the strike, if triggered, would be total, potentially disrupting critical aviation meteorological services across the country. The unions recalled that NIMET workers had previously embarked on the strike in April 2025 over poor welfare conditions, salary relativity, and non-implementation of the minimum wage. That strike was called off after Minister Keyamo intervened, leading to the signing of a resolution between all parties. However, the unions say the government has failed to fulfill its part of the bargain. According to the unions, issues such as non-adoption of salary relativity, failure to comply with circulars on staff appointments, and delays in wage awards have persisted despite multiple assurances. It is disheartening that these issues have lingered for too long, despite several interventions. Workers have shown maturity and patience, which has now run out, the statement said. The Nigerian Association of Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers, NAPGAM, has accused some retailers of exploiting the ongoing shortage of liquefied petroleum gas, popularly known as cooking gas, to arbitrarily hike prices across the country. Speaking on the TV program on Wednesday, NAPGAM President Oladapo Olatunbosun clarified that there has been no official increase in the price of cooking gas, blaming profiteering retailers for taking advantage of temporary supply gaps. According to him, the rise in prices is driven by market opportunism rather than any formal adjustment in cost. The price of gas has not gone up. People are only cashing in on the little shortage in supply to make money, which is wrong, and we frown at this as an association, he said. Olatunbosun further explained that the Pengasin strike worsened the scarcity as regulatory inspections were suspended, stalling vessel offloads at key depots. He, however, expressed confidence that once refinery operations resume fully and union activities stabilize, the supply chain will normalize. By the grace of God, in the next few days, normalcy will come. Nigerians will continue to enjoy affordable LPG once supply improves, he assured. Olatunbosun assured consumers that the situation is temporary, expressing optimism that normalcy would return in the coming days. He explained that the shortage was caused by an artificial disruption following maintenance at the Dangote refinery and a recent Pengasin strike, which slowed down LPG offloading operations. The NAPGAM boss revealed that while the Dangote refinery had previously supplied up to 50 trucks of LPG daily, operations had slowed, forcing marketers to depend on Apapa depots. The International Monetary Fund says the global economy is performing better than initially feared, despite persistent uncertainty and sluggish medium-term prospects. IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva made this known during a press briefing in Washington ahead of next week's World Bank and IMF annual meetings. She says the World Bank economy is doing better than feared, but worse than we need, adding that growth is expected to slow only slightly this year and next, supported by resilience in the United States and several emerging and developing economies. The IMF chief urged nations to act swiftly to boost output, rebuild fiscal buffers, and reduce trade imbalances. She called on Asian countries to deepen regional trade and expand access to finance, while urging African nations to implement business-friendly reforms and strengthen the continental free trade area, which could raise per capita GDP by over 10%. Georgieva also challenged Europe to embrace bold reforms, warning that the continent must catch up with the private sector dynamism of the US. The 2025 IMF World Bank meetings are expected to focus on trade, debt, and global economic recovery strategies. Georgieva highlighted that the world economy has largely withstood multiple shocks thanks to improved policy fundamentals and adaptability in the private sector. However, she warned that global resilience has yet to be fully tested, especially as trade tensions and tariff policies continue to unfold. The IMF projects global growth to remain around 3%, below pre-pandemic averages, with China's slowdown and India's rise shaping future trends. Away from that now to the foreign scene, 14 soldiers have been confirmed dead following a deadly shootout reportedly sparked by a love triangle dispute among members of the country's elite security units. According to Army spokesperson Lul Rel Kwang, the clash began after two officers, one loyal to President Salva Kiir and the other to his rival Riek Machar, engaged in a heated argument over a woman. The confrontation escalated into gunfire, leaving 8 government troops and 6 opposition soldiers dead. The South Sudan People's Defense Forces say the incident occurred on Monday at a market near the oil-rich Abyei Box region, a disputed area along the Sudan-South Sudan border. Kwang told journalists that 5 soldiers were also injured, while 1 civilian was reportedly caught in the crossfire. He maintained that the attack was not politically motivated, but rather a personal misunderstanding that turned violent. This comes amid heightened tensions in South Sudan, where a fragile power-sharing agreement between Kiir and Machar continues to unravel, raising fears of a return to full-blown civil war. The army says investigations are underway to determine the full cause of the deadly altercation. Liverpool's Mohamed Salah was in dazzling form as Egypt sealed their spot in the 2026 FIFA World Cup, defeating Djibouti 3-0 in Casablanca on Wednesday. The Pharaohs made light work of their Group A opponents, ranked 158th in the world, with Ibrahim Adel opening the scoring just 8 minutes into the game. Salah struck twice, once in the 14th minute and again late in the 84th, to cap off a dominant display. The Liverpool forward now boasts 9 goals in the qualifying campaign, ensuring Egypt an unassailable 5-point lead over Burkina Faso and a ticket to the 2026 Mundial. The 33-year-old, who has struggled for form this season at Liverpool, rolled back the years to lead his nation back to the World Cup for the 5th time in history, after appearances in 1934, 1990 and 2018, and now 2026. Elsewhere, Ghana cruised past the Central African Republic with a 5-0 win in Meknes, thanks to goals from Thomas Partey, Jordan Ayew, and Kamaldeen Sulemana, while Cape Verde edged closer to a first-ever qualification after a thrilling 3-3 draw with Libya. With Salah shining once again on the continental stage, Egypt's dream of World Cup glory burns bright as Africa's most successful footballing nation books its ticket to North America. Fresh reports have emerged revealing how Napoli successfully blocked a potential move by AC Milan to sign Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen. According to reports, AC Milan, led by Zlatan Ibrahimovic, made a late push to bring in Osimhen a couple of transfer windows ago. Juventus were also reportedly keeping tabs on the situation, raising fears that Napoli could lose their star man to a domestic rival. However, Napoli resisted the pressure and instead restructured Osimhen's deal, adding what football insider Fabrizio Romano describes as an anti-Italy clause. Romano explained that the clause prevents Osimhen's new club, Galatasaray, from selling him to any Italian side, a move aimed at keeping Serie A rivals from snapping up the Nigerian forward. Napoli's firm stance appears to have paid off, ensuring that former talisman won't return to the Italian league anytime soon. And with that sports news, we come to the end of our daily news roundup for today, right here on Atlantic TV. Do also follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates and news stories. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nkechi Tejire. Have a pleasant day.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Tikado! Tikado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Tikado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Tikado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at tikado.com.ng. Tikado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, it's Trending O'Clock, and you know how we do it right here on Trending. We'll talk about all the trending gist on the internet and, of course, give our opinions about them. I am Mercy Irabo, and you know I can never be alone in the studio. Joining me today is, once you see my face like this, you know what to expect, right? E to the N to the K to the A to the Y and K.
Oh my goodness, why am I laughing? Oh my God, once again, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much,
always a
Mercy,
pleasure.
Thank
you so much for
we back again.
joining me. and you know, I like it when, please don't tell my kid this. I like it when you're always here. It's always women.
I didn't hear anything.
Thank you so much for always joining me.
A pleasure.
Yeah, so we have a lot of trending gist today. Well, I think I would love to start here in Delta State.
Okay.
So we saw for praise students that the Federal University of Petroleum Resources Forum yesterday. They came out to stage a mass protest expressing their frustration over what they describe as worsening conditions on campus and increments of tuition fee. According to them, the latest fee hike is the second in just 2 years. And students say they've had enough. Well, let's see the footage of the protest. Well, we were able to reach out to the management as we had a representative on Dialogue this morning. If you watch Dialogue, you will know everything that played out today. So he talked about students reacting to a fake and unverified memo in circulation. And this brings us back to a dissemination of unverified information. Like, just imagine the harm and the risks that it poses. The students came out yesterday, blocked all the roads and everything, not knowing that it was a fake memo.
Fake
you understand? So these are what we're still trying to fight, and all of that. Bloggers are just going to post things that the ones that are verified and the ones that are unverified. I saw that protest yesterday and I was a bit sad that, because I remember in Ambrose Ali University they had similar occurrence. That was some time ago, about last 2 years. They had a similar occurrence because imagine you're increasing a government-owned school by 200%. So it was really alarming, it was worrisome, and the students came out to protest. So when I saw that too, I felt like, okay, I think this is becoming too much. You don't just increase a government-owned school and all of that. But now the management came out to say there's nothing like increment. It was a fake and unverified memo that was in circulation, and the students saw it and they got agitated and they came out to block the roads. What do you have to say about this?
Well, first of all, I believe the first question should be, who posted the memo?
That's the thing. It's
because
going to be very
if it was
difficult
posted
to
in the school premises, it must have been someone in the school or around the school or working in the school that must have posted that information.
Yeah.
And I believe also, before protests like this comes up, the school authorities should be aware of such protests, you know, because it's very important that the school is aware so as to, you know, avert whatever kind of, you know, mishappenings, you know, that may want to occur during the protest, you know, and stuff like that. So I believe if the school was aware of the protest, there would have been efforts made to make the students know that this memo is a fake memo. There is no increment whatsoever. You know, but if the school management was not aware of the protest, and that was a wrong thing for the students to do, embarking on the protest without the knowledge of the school authorities, you know, that's one. And two, talking about the increments, there must have been so many reasons, you know, why fares will be hiked. You know, I think before school fees are being increased, I think the school management should also come out to tell us, okay, these are the reasons we are hiking the prices. Let the students know so that they will know what they are paying for. You know, and I think now that we know that is a false alarm, is a false report, you know, I think the school should be able to address the students, you know, to avert such happenings. So whenever such information is being passed across, they should channel that energy to the right authorities instead of going all out to agree on the protest, even without the school's management.
And I feel they should have a proper means of communication.
Proper channel.
Because if they have a proper channel, I'm sure the students would just go there to verify, and once it's not there, then they know that it's a fake memo,
report,
not when anybody's just allowed to post things and all of that. Well, I was happy yesterday when they were able to curb the whole thing and the students went back to their classes and all of that. So it's a good one that they were able to resolve the whole thing amicably. Yes, our next story is a very shocking and heartbreaking one from Enugu State. So at Central School Enugu Akoachi in Oji River local government area, a 4-year-old boy in primary 1 was locked inside his teacher's office as punishment after school closed at 2 p.m. The shocking part, he wasn't found until around 10 p.m. that night when his worried parents raised the alarm over his disappearance. The community quickly mobilized, and in a dramatic rescue, they broke down the office door to free the terrified child. Wow. I don't know what in negligence name is this, because I don't even know. Yes, and just yesterday we talked about the teachers issue, and today we're having to deal with another teachers issue. I don't know why we're having all of this. And just a few days ago, we were talking about the World Teachers Day, and we were talking about how teachers are unappreciated and all of that, not knowing that we have the negligent ones Like, how do you forget like a human being? You just locked this child up. I don't know if it's a negligence. I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know what exactly it was. Leaving a 4-year-old child.
Forgets the boy.
How can you just forget?
I really
human
cannot comprehend it.
Not a pin.
But then again, teachers, there are still good teachers out there. I mean, teachers are supposed to be empathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're supposed to have some level of, some love for the children they teach.
Like, I feel teaching is not one job that everybody should just go into.
No. Teaching is a
you
very
also have
sensitive
a passion
job.
and all of that.
Passion. That's why they don't just give. It is expected that teachers are not just given the job of teaching.
Yeah.
They must have had some sort of qualification before you can be a teacher. You must have had your education, your education certificates, and the rest of them, before you can be qualified as a teacher. But these days, we just see all kinds of people looking for a job, and then they just hand them the teacher job because, oh, I'm good in maths, I'm good in physics, so I can teach physics, and then they just give them all kinds of jobs. And then we have people who are mentally deranged getting these positions and handling children and treating them like garbages. Now, this is another incident of negligence on the part of the teacher. Now, I will also say that the parents have a role to play in this. They also have blames. How would you wait till 10 p.m.?
Probably they were looking for the child and all of that, and when it was 10 p.m., it was dawned on them that this
child
is
really not
missing,
back. But then again, it's a good thing that they were able to trace it down to the school. I think I watched some part of the video where the CSO of the community, the chief security officer, was saying that the teacher who did this would not go unpunished.
Imagine that child was
he would personally make sure that this teacher is being brought to book and meant to face the law. But then again, this is so inhumane. It is so barbaric. How would you lock a 4-year-old up? Whatever that child did is on. I mean, it's disregarded. Seriously, because there is no crime or there is no offense that the 4-year-old would do that you will lock him up for such hours. I mean, I don't know how people think. Without food, without anything, and then it's a government school.
Yeah,
that's another thing. I think the principal should be aware of this, and I think proper procedures should be made on how they can safeguard the lives of students in the school, and also make sure that this teacher should be used as a scapegoat. So, other teachers who might want to have such in mind would want to resist the urge to maltreat a child in this manner.
Well, this incident, like we said, it has sparked a lot of outrage reactions from netizens, and we're able to gather some of the reactions. Well, let's see some of the reactions. Akai, this is heartbreaking. It's possible the teacher even forgot that he punished the boy. Like, how do you forget a child?
So did you lock the boy in your office and you never went back to that office till you left the school?
How can you forget? I don't know why I've been feeling like this teacher might have ulterior motive to all of that. I don't know why I've been feeling that way. Some teachers transfer their pain, frustrations, and insecurities onto their students. Let me reiterate, I don't make friends with my kids' teacher. I keep it professional, 100%. Make all men know their limits, especially with my kids, because some of those guys are simply demonic. Yes, this is a demonic act.
It's actually still good to have, the contact with your child's teacher. So, whatever may happen or occur, you can actually reach out to the teacher. Probably if this child's parents had the number of the teacher, probably they would have put a call through to find out what really happened.
Interesting. I think some people are really... this is the second video I've seen about Enugu State Primary School. What a rubbish. I think we still have more reactions. It is. It's very painful. I don't know. This is not something to smile about. The
teacher should be arrested, actually.
Yes, of course. The teacher needs to be arrested. The teacher should be arrested. Okay, we have more. The teacher should be arrested ASAP. I believe the teacher forgot. That looks like store. Well, that's an office. I think this should be a topic for that day, not today. Let's deal with this first. Wait, he didn't eat? People are wicked. He didn't eat. That's my major concern. That child was
That child is still a toddler. A 4-year-old?
They need to start screening teachers before employing them. And I thought they do. Like, this is not a usual private school that you just think that private schools, they just go for anybody at all.
Can just
this is a public school, a government-owned school that are supposed to have experience and screened teachers, and we're getting all of this from a government-owned school. Okay, we still have reactions. He must have done something. They should question him.
There is nothing that he should have done or that he did that will warrant this kind of punishment.
To be locked up somewhere. Punishment for a 4-year-old boy. What did he steal? 4 years old. Like, this is somebody that is thinking the same way I'm doing right now. Like, what exactly is his offense? If them not lock that school, call me cost bad. Okay.
But I believe since it's a government-owned school, I think the government should actually wade into this.
Yes,
and make
they
sure
should
that,
definitely.
This teacher is being, apprehended and questioned, and of course also made to face the course of the law, because this is really, really, really unethical. This is not what a teacher should be doing.
It's not. This is just heartbreaking. Yesterday, it was a 3-year-old beaten so badly. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday on Trending, with a cane that the marks were all over her body. Today, it's even worse. A 4-year-old boy locked in a teacher's office from 2 p.m. until around 10 p.m. in the name of discipline. How can anyone think it's okay to lock up a child who is supposed to be safe and cared for? The teacher needs to be punished, no excuses, but the parents also share the blame. Why wait 8 hours before raising the alarm that your child is missing? This is shameful. We all need to do better. Children are not tools for punishment. They are humans who deserve protection, love, and care. Society must step up, because these kinds of abuses should never happen.
We should not even be hearing
it should
of
never
such.
happen, like in any way. This is so disheartening. It's really disheartening. And we talked yesterday about abuses in schools, and it's not meant to be. When you're talking about discipline, I feel there are other methods to discipline a child. In as much as you want to keep a child, I feel for a 4-year-old child still needs a lot of monitoring. You shouldn't just keep that child all by himself in a locked up place. What if he had done something to harm himself, to hurt himself, and all of that? He needs a lot of monitoring. That is not supposed to be one of the methods of punishing students. And then flogging, we talked about this yesterday, is not supposed to be one of the ways to punish a student. There are several other ways that I feel schools should
can speak in
try
love.
to.
You can
just
scold
talk to the child.
You can just talk. You don't
Well,
have to
I feel
use
teachers
weapons.
like this really need to face a serious and strict consequences for their actions. We really want the Enugu state government to intervene in all of this issue. It's a government-owned school, and the government really needs to intervene in this particular case. It's not something that should go unpunished. It's not one of those stories that should be swept under the carpet. So we really need justice for this child, and we really need this very teacher should be used as an example. She should be used, she or he, we do not even know the teacher yet, should be used as a scapegoat so that the others will deter from such behavior. Well, away from that, there's this shocking story that seems unbelievable, but sadly, it's a reality. A midwife has taken to social media to search for the mother of a newborn baby. A woman who had initially approached her seeking for an abortion. The midwife, standing by professional ethics, advised the young woman to keep the pregnancy. She supported her through the journey, and eventually the baby was born. But in a twist that no one expected, shortly after delivery, the mother disappeared, leaving the newborn behind with the midwife. Interesting. Well, this is the footage. She said she only gave an advice to the lady to keep the child, knowing the fact that she might have other issues related to the abortion later in future. So she felt like, I need to advise this young girl, keep the pregnancy. And the girl accepted, even without argument and all of that, thinking it was fine. And then she said she even helped the girl, supported her. The girl did not pay a dime for all of the antenatal care and everything, even the delivery. And at the end of the day, the girl left the child with her. I think this is advice gone wrong.
Advice gone wrong, my sister. You know, she accepted the advice, but what did she want to do? Sit there
They
and
have mind.
Do you understand? You know, see, it's really sad to see that a mother can abandon her newborn child. Probably, I don't know what she was scared of. Probably she did not want, because I heard the story, she was pregnant for a married man.
Yeah.
And she did not want all the drama that comes with, you know, finally getting to meet the father, or, you know, trying to drag or to get money from the father to take care of the child.
Yeah.
Probably she was not buoyant enough to take care of the child, and she did not want all that pressure on her. So you know what? You advised me to keep the baby now. Oh yeah, now I don't want now. Take. Let me leave her for you.
Well,
you
just
know,
as
but
we have a lot to say, netizens did not find this funny at all. They reacted so badly to this. Imagine ditching your baby after you were the one asking for advice. Some people just shouldn't be parents. Yes.
Unfortunately.
She didn't pay you with evil. Now you have a baby who may be a blessing. You know, the nurse said, she advised her that this child will definitely be a blessing to you. So somebody is saying, now you have a baby who may be a blessing. Take care of the child, ma. In 20 years from now, the baby will become Ronaldo, and you will be the one to enjoy. Interesting.
It's all right.
Read carefully to choose the correct answer. Question. So in all of this, who is at fault? One, the sugar daddy. Remember, she got pregnant for a married man, a runaway mother, midwife, the advisor.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I think
this has turned to a content.
I think I should throw that question to my audience. You should be able to give us who is really at fault here. Leaving a baby behind is not an option. This child needs you, and running away isn't the answer. They tell una something, but you go, they sweet una. Advice everywhere.
You know,
when people they find some, they cry, they beg God. You get them, you run, leave them.
I mean, so sad.
It's a lie, Sha.
So
abortion
sad.
is not okay. The lady said she advised her that abortion is one of the causes of infertility. So now this is saying abortion is not one of the main causes of infertility. Unsafe abortion is dangerous. Abortion is wrong. Abortion is illegal. We do not in any way support abortion. Abstinence is what we support here. That's truly heartbreaking. The story reflects both the struggle and complexities many women face when dealing with unexpected pregnancies. Well, you can keep your legs closed if you do not want unexpected
Why did you go
pregnancies.
to a married man?
It's sad that the baby was abandoned, but hopefully the little one finds safety and love soon. The midwife's compassion is stepping up. Deserves deep respect. Well, we could go on and on with all of the reactions.
Yes.
I remember seeing one
her.
that said, advice is only appreciated when it's asked for. So you went to give advice, you should be. I saw
she was
lots
only doing
and lots
her
of
job.
reactions.
She was doing her job.
Now you just left
see,
the child.
when you go to the hospital, you will not just say, I have headache, give me paracetamol. Okay, take paracetamol. They will advise you and they will tell you, okay, instead of paracetamol, there is something else you can take or you can do. I mean, it's just simple ethics, right? So, and I really want to commend the midwife. You know, what she did was really very brave, you know, holding on to the child. But then again, I mean, no matter how the situation may have been really tough, I don't think leaving your child behind, it's a good option. I mean, you have someone here who helped you all through the process. Through your antenatal, you did not pay a dime up until delivery. What made you think that someone cannot support you even when a child is born? I mean, leaving the child was a total no-no for me because that child needs his mother. You know, talk about breastfeeding, talk about, you know, giving the child the right nutrition and support, you know, that the child needs growing up. You know, it's really wrong for her to have left that child.
Yeah, and in as much as I know you have a lot to say about this particular midwife issue, yes, but I want us to quickly rush through the story because Michael talked about it today. That I will address it, and of course, I really want to address it. So, talking about the Interpol that arrested a Nigerian man in Argentina over multiple romance scams that targeted victims around the world. In a joint operation between Interpol and Argentine authorities, a Nigerian national named Ikechukwu N was tracked down and arrested for his alleged involvement in a network of romance scams. Investigators say the suspects used fake online identities to build emotional relationships with unsuspecting victims, mostly women, before defrauding them of large sums of money. I feel sad that it's always Nigeria. It's always coming for Nigeria, and it's painting. It's just painting us bad. I don't like the way it keeps painting Nigerians bad, because just this now, it's already another stain. We already have all of the stains coming globally, talking about our political system and all of that, and now this is involving the youth and all of that. I really do not think, in as much as we know that this is not a new scam method. It's a usual one, and now the authorities are saying that investigations are still ongoing and more arrests could follow this as they trace the financial and digital platforms of this network. So they believe it's a particular network, and then they are still doing their investigations and all of that. NK, I think you might want to say something.
So let me just say something real quick. You know, these are the things that we've always been fighting for. You know, people putting Nigeria in a bad light. You know, and then this is not the first time we've talked about internet fraud. I've talked about scamming people online just to get their money and all that stuff. I mean, there was a particular scam that went wrong, where the white woman that they were scamming traced them to Nigeria and came to Nigeria to apprehend them. So, you know, sometimes when I hear stuff like this, I'm really bothered that it has to be Nigerians. Well, it's really sad. And if more investigations are made and more, you know, information comes up from this, I'm sure there will be more people associated with this particular syndicate that will be arrested. And they will
I hope they won't come from Nigeria again.
I really hope they don't come
from Nigeria again. Yeah, so I know we have a lot to talk about this particular issue. I feel one day we need to just dedicate one full day to talk about this romance scam. I think we really need to keep educating people about this romance scam, so they will stop falling victims to it. Yes, in as much as I would want us to talk, I know NK has a lot to say, but time is really not on our side. Sadly, we really have to go now. But I had a super amazing time. I know NK.
Of course I did.
Too, and
always,
thank you, NK.
I don't know how you bring the stories, but sometimes I'm like, oh, okay.
Thank you so much for always joining me. And you know, you can engage with us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. Well, this is where I have to say, see you for another great edition of Viewpoint on Atlantic TV. Same time tomorrow. I am Mercy Erabo. Do have a great day.